are at Ebisu Circuit. This thing was founded in 1986. It's 20 minutes away from a small town that you may know as Fukushima. If you ever came to Japan and you wanted to get up here, it would mean that you'd have to take a bullet train or Shinkansen from Tokyo to Fukushima and then have to find a ride or maybe hitch a ride to this crazy racetrack. But here's the thing, is the fact that it has, one might argue, like zero rules. And to be fair, when you come here, it does feel like the Wild West, except, well, the East. And I wanted to explore it with you so that we can go through every public available track here at the Ebisu Circuit and see if it's as dangerous as what people say it is. Because quite honestly, ever since I've been here the first time in 2022, I have always wanted to come back and I've always wanted to drive it. And that is exactly what you and I are gonna do today. Now, like I said, I have been here before. In November of 2022, I got to come here and just experience it in all its whimsical wonderlandness. It was November, it was cold, everything was wet, and when I went to the bathroom, I had noticed that the only running water was a watering hose that had been snaked through the back window. The experience was enlightening. But there is something special about all these tracks that just seem to be thrown against this mountainside in no real rhyme or reason. Ebisu day passes are about $70. $20 if you have a friend that you want to drive with. Now, you can't get here via train, only car rental or a very enthusiastic walk from Fukushima, which is about a 25-minute drive or 4-hour walk. Now, unlike most racetracks that have 1 to 2 different layouts, Ebisu has 7 different individual tracks plus 2 skid pads. And the craziest part about it is that they're all self-regulated, meaning you can come here and just drive as long as you paid the entry fee. There's nobody here to check you in and out. You don't even really have to wear your helmet or wear your seatbelt when you're over at Kuru. My American brain can't even like wrap my head around it. And we're doing it in this. Cinematics aside, I would have asked Nissan to give me something to drift, but short of them just putting me on red, I didn't know who I was gonna reach out to until Colette Davis actually got me in touch with these folks, the Sideways Experience, which they lent me a Nissan 350Z, or I guess I should say a Fairlady Z. We need to see if I actually know how to drift over here versus something like, I don't know, US Air. Sideways Experience. These guys are originally just a group of friends from Sydney, Australia that came to Ebisu to spend a week drifting on the mountaintop. From the school course to North Course, that group drove everywhere all week long, only to realize that more people need to be able to do this. So they started renting cars to idiots like me, who can just show up and try his best to stay on top of the mountain and not fall off the side. Now you see, learning to drift at Ebisu is a little bit like learning how to shoot a gun at the Alamo. Great place to learn, but you will want to learn fast. All right, so to start it out, before we even go anywhere, I have to make sure that I actually know what I'm doing. So they took me to Kuru, translates to something. We'll just call it a skid pad, and we're gonna see if I have enough car control because I do need to go to all the other tracks that we aim to do. My ass is soaked, I can't see anything. It's a perfect time to learn how to drift a car. Okay, ready? Let's try not to mess this up. Ebisu is the Japanese god of prosperity, and especially it's associated with fishermen, considered to be one of 7 to originate purely from Japan without any Buddhist or Taoist influence. Now, Ebisu Circuit, on the other hand, requires a bit of luck, because something like this wouldn't exist in the United States. Nobushige Kumakubo started carving into the far side of Mount Aratara back in 1986. The story, though, is pretty simple. Kumakubo was born into a wealthy family who owned a huge portion of this land, including this chunk right here, and politely batted his eyelashes to place the wildest circuit to ever be built before, and his parents said, sure. And to be fair, to share this with you is a bit of a dream of mine, that you get to be here right now. Now, the last time I was here, I met Colette, Salmon, and Adam out of random coincidence, and getting his white chaser alive, I got to see in person. Watching those folks drift out there
Well, it felt like something I had to do to prove that I wouldn't just talk about cool car things. I got to do cool car things, and I wanted to do them with you too. They ran North Course, the one that you see everyone do, but there was one that they also ran that you really can't get into unless you're in a car, and that's the Togue, and we plan to do that one too. The only thing that's weird about this is, how does this track really have no rules?
Feels good. Feels good. Feels real good.
We can move up to school and we'll just
see how that feels.
There, yeah,
Let's do it.
It's pretty easy.
Same thing. Same but different.
It's bigger.
Oh hell yeah!
It's a lot bigger.
Yeah.
Now this is Daniel from Sideways Experience, and he and his team have been on this mountainside since 2018. And he agrees, it's a bit of a wild west around here.
The word got out that you could come to Ebisu and drift without actually having to spend 20,000 US on buying a car.
Yeah.
So it's just worked out for the whole world, and you know, word of mouth, you know, just pumped this place up, and yeah, it's just been flat out ever since.
Next up, school course. This one apparently is way more dangerous, which means you need to have a helmet on and you have to wear your seatbelt. Everything else is completely optional now, including clothes. We have to go do a nice sweeper, manji, right-hander, counterclockwise, over the hill there, come back straight through, another manji, and then power slide pretty much all the way around without using the clutch, because they don't want you clutch kicking in these cars because they blow them up all the time. So we're gonna give it a shot. Track number 2, let's get it.
After proving I wouldn't drive rallycross in their 350Z, I was gifted the level up to school course. This is 420 meters long of just enough elevation change to make it, well, it was kind of for a little bit, to be honest. But don't worry, we got it. Gotta say though, the coolest part of school course is seeing the track down the hill, Nishi, and hearing cars absolutely rip it. The sound echoes off the valley below, and as you're in the car, you can still hear people driving like absolute mad, not even a quarter mile away. Sure, I'm wearing a helmet, and yeah, the car has 4 tires, but outside of being able to understand how the circle thing that's connected to the front wheels work while you're inside the car, you really don't need much else to get out here. What's more, you don't have to be 16 to drive here. You don't need insurance. And I'm pretty sure they don't really mind if you put your hand in the zoo cages, but you won't have the best of luck. Apparently, this is for the area where the animals sometimes are on a bad behavior stint, and the last person that got in there and left the door unlocked had a pretty bad time. The thing with school course is that it has just enough elevation change to be tricky, with the far end having a really tight circle. Now, I had never driven a car where I was almost told to not clutch kick. They want you to use that hydro. So getting used to that to get around corners and to also carry turns and drifts and all that sort of good stuff was turning out to be a bit more tricky than I thought.
My hair is always a direct indication of how much fun or how much of a tin hat conspiracy you're about to watch. Take that as you will. And that is school course completed. There are 2 left that we need to do. North course and that really scary one that everybody wants to do and then ends up crashing their Porsche into a California highway. So let's go see if we can finish up the day on a high note, because then tomorrow it's all about seeing if we can dial it in. What a rad time. This is a dream. If you guys have money and you're like, should I spend money on school or go drifting in Japan?
Jesus. 1,155 meters of track. The 12-turn track carries an aura that I first felt back in 2022 when Andy Gray drove me around a little bit in his Chaser. My pants were brown and my smile was huge. Now this is the highest track at Ebisu. This is the one that I told myself, that I told you, I wanted to drift in 2024. Holy sh**, we did it. We need a break.
Now, the good news is it's day 2. It's completely dry. It should be super easy to drift on a course that I've only spent maybe an hour on. Kidding, it's soaking. It is absolutely blistering wet. There is no spot on this track right now that I think has any grip, but we're doing this one and we're gonna run the Togue track. I promise you, I promised myself I would do it, so no matter what happens with the weather, we gotta make it happen. It did require me to fork over 200,000 yen to the Experience Sideways group because in case I crash, they want to have at least $1,300 back to recoup their losses. What better way to learn?
Americans have an infatuation with Japanese culture, especially in the automotive culture. The polarizing experience of individualism versus collectivism, the shelving of selfish endeavors for the greater good with a language barrier that makes you think that everyone is the best person in the entire world, which they might be, who knows. Now good news, when you're at Ebisu, everyone's there to have some fun. And me, a random kid from Wisconsin, well, we're here to finish this trip with a dream that we had that we got to experience because of you, hopefully. We actually still have to do the Togue course. We can't do uplifting, monologue, exciting music if I end up sucking the entire time.
They put tires there for a reason. Great learning, especially in the wet.
Okay, and it like ripped it?
I hit it and it just took everything.
Oh no, is that why you're soaked?
Yeah, it's on camera.
A little bit better. Oh, she's wet.
Why'd you put all the water in there? That is North Course. Now, there is Menominee, but we don't have a Ford Focus RS or a Fiat Abarth that's lifted, or just a truck. The rest of them are closed, which means there's one left that I want to show you, and that is the road, the mountain pass, the video that you've always seen go viral when you talk about Ebisu. Most of those videos are the Togue track, and that is the most dangerous, probably the hardest track in the entire Ebisu track layout that you can do. We're gonna grab some food, and then I'm gonna show you exactly what that looks like. The last time I was here, I had a 4-time Formula Drift Japan champion driving me around. This time, it's just little old me. I'm gonna be honest with you, that was probably the hardest driving I have ever done. The Togue requires like 100% concentration, 0 mistakes, and then still having to commit every single corner if you want to figure out how to connect it. And I'm exhausted. I missed the e-brake a couple times. I busted my hand against the dash, so now I'm just bleeding. But what an absolute experience. That had to have been the most exciting driving I've ever done in my entire life. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm not entirely sure any part of this would make it at any course in the entire United States of America. And even in Japan, I don't think there's a level of like relaxation towards rules that would allow another Ebisu to ever be built. Now, with that being said, my pants have turned brown, I'm burning up, my heart rate is at an all-time high. We're gonna go back to North Course and finish up the day, because I don't think I can do that track any more than I already have without either doing more or leapfrogging it down the mountain, which turns out Sideways Experience does not want, and now I fully understand why they have a 200,000 yen deposit on anyone that wants to run this course.
Holy smokes. Ladies and gentlemen, we did it. It felt like I was going 100 miles an hour, and realistically I was probably going like 20, but that doesn't matter because we got out there and we did it. Finally, after 2.5 years of dreaming to be able to do this, we finally got to drive Ebisu.
Did it!
Did it!
We did it! We did it! We did it! We did it! We did it! What an experience. And that, to me, is the craziest thing, is that this entire thing was an experience. I don't have a car over here. I probably don't want to buy a car to have over here to collect dust, but I was able to show up, jump into a 350Z, and drive around for 2 days. And that, to me, was an incredible experience. At the heart of drifting, probably one of the best tracks to drift on, and that was all thanks to Sideways Experience. I cannot thank them enough. And yeah, they helped me get a car here, but you guys don't like, I wish I could share with you how I feel about this entire thing. And that experience that they gave me, that emotion, that memory is gonna live on forever because of them. And water is collecting on this lens, but I just wanted to say to the Sideways Experience team and all the folks that wear that hoodie, thank you so much. You guys are absolutely incredible. Some of the nicest people I have ever met. And if you're on the fence about doing something like this, I could not recommend them enough. They were absolutely incredible. Just please, they get 1,000 inquiries all the time. Be sure to actually be serious if you're looking about jumping in, because quite honestly, these guys were booked and they were at full throttle all day today. And it seems like they do that every single day. So thank you guys so much. Thank you to the team. Thank you to Steph, everybody that's been here. Absolutely incredible. Thank you.
The very first time I ever saw a car drifting was in Option Lab magazine back in the early 2000s. Shortly thereafter, I watched Tokyo Drift, and I'd say it's still one of the best movies ever made that's about the automotive car culture. The style, the counterculture, the expressiveness, everything a kid from Wisconsin needed to feel like maybe, just maybe, his life could be more than growing up to be a banker. Ebisu is a track with maybe 1 or 2 rules, but just like drifting, it's one of the few tracks that carry the raw expression and culture of what so many of us in America and across the globe crave. You and I got to experience this in a small dose in 2022, and again in a much larger dose thanks to the Sideways experience. And well, you here in 2024, this is something that we get to put kind of on the shelf and say we got to enjoy it together and to experience the history of Ebisu and not just driving. Well, I hope that's something that you enjoyed too. So if you enjoyed this video, let me know and subscribe. I'm AlexMartini, and at the end of the day, we'll see you on the next one.
Hi. So today was so cool. This was such an awesome experience, even though I'm soaked and I'm really cold and I'm probably gonna get sick now. Alex did so good, and it was really cool seeing him get to do this because I've been with him for the entire drifting experience, so he did really good and I'm really proud of him.
I love you!
I love you too. Now let me go in the car.
Yeah, go in the car, go in the car.